when you go too high up, you end up in the opposite direction because no one's bigger than the program. So if money is the key to creating a life where you can do whatever you want, whatever, you're still not above the divine. There's still a balance in order. Hello world, and welcome to Be My Witness, a podcast where we witness ourselves, witness each other, and witness others on this journey we call life. And in today's episode, we'll be witnessing money. But maybe not the way that you think of money, more so how I think of money. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the absolutely twisted. So stick around for a reframing of the thing we encounter oh so frequently. And let's get into it. Money doesn't rule my world. Money doesn't rule my world. And that sounds really freeing because people often advise and encourage others to do things for money, even when their spirit or their body doesn't agree. And it's even crazier the people that do promote things that don't align with the greater good of it all in the pursuit of money. And I don't think it's the money's fault for how people exploit it, because our current concept of money is not really valuable in the way that it seems. A lot of us don't even see money anymore. A lot of people, I hear it all the time. Like, people don't carry cash anymore. People don't see money anymore. It's really interesting actually when you think about it, because that makes me think about how there's a homeless crisis in the United States, and now all of a sudden people don't carry cash. That makes you wonder, like, is the shift to digital also connected to that system of keeping people below standard? A lot of us don't even see paper money anymore. Instead, it's just numbers on a screen in an app. How is it that our money has gone from valuable trade and bartering to metal and now to an electronic illusion? An illusion that we keep believing in and thinking that we must have. But what about all the other aspects of life? What if our worlds were ruled or governed or led by love, peace, integrity, intelligence, movement? What if we leaned on all the multiple ways there are to being in this life? Because for too long of my life, the world at large has been led and ruled by money. And it looks like it's leading us into a dark place. But I do want to reiterate that I don't think it's money's fault. Instead, the invocation of and the ritual that has become money and the operators that have hands and how it moves. Because that's another thing. It was never about money. It was never about the money. And it's not about the money. It's about the ability to exist beyond containment, to exist where you could just throw money at your problems and be absolved of them, to exist in this world and never have to take accountability, to exist in this world and move around as you please, to exist in this world to flee when things get hard, to exist in this world and absolve yourself from being human. Because we all have to go through those things. As humans, we have to experience things that are tough, but we can't run away because we don't get to learn the lesson in that. We have to experience the challenge. We have to take accountability when we make mistakes, and we have to have a sense of integrity and honesty about how we live. So I don't really believe that it's the money's fault, but the society or the world that has been created around money that exploits money. The concept of trading value for value, trading a value for something else that's also valuable, something that you want. You have something but you want to get something else, so you trade. You trade. I'll give you this if you give me that. That makes sense, right? How it goes from that to where we are now, it's really crazy. So that's why I don't believe that it's money's fault. Money, just like anything really, is not inherently good or evil. It is a force, and then it is acted upon. And too much of this time, money has been acted upon in a very exploitive way, a very deranged way, a very inhumane way. And that's why we have this concept that money is evil. And what's so crazy about that is that the people who are invoking money in that way, it's crazy how that concept works in their favor, because if we believe that money is evil, then we're never gonna right. No, I see what y'all did there. No, and I see what y'all did there, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to change the channel, so stick with me. It's the invocation of money, the ritual of money. Have you seen money? The ritual of money and the operators that have hands in how it moves. The operators that have hands in how it moves, because this is not an economy. This is a plutonomy, and the people with power are the ones that control the money. So much so that a good portion of us could lose our jobs, lose all our money, and the economy would still work as if nothing happened. So when I think of my ideal life, it doesn't consist of millions and billions of dollars. And I don't think that's a goal anyone should have, because if you notice how people with that kind of money operate, it's not really an exciting journey. It seems really void of life. And I also think that when you go too high up, you end up in the opposite direction, because no one's bigger than the program. So if money is the key to creating a life where you can do whatever you want, whatever, you're still not above the divine. There's still a balance in order. The belief in money, because they are fighting to keep it, they're fighting to hoard it, and they're holding on very tight. It's actually very, very scary. That belief takes over them in a crazy way, and it's about to get dark. So, trigger warning. That belief in money takes over them in a crazy way. So much so that to keep it, they exploit the labor of the working people. So much so that to keep it, they bomb and wipe out entire nations of people. So much so that to keep it, they will eat and sexually assault children. Exploitation, war, and ultimate violence upon the lives of the innocent, just to keep money. What are we talking about? What is actually happening here? What is this thing that we just have to have, if having so much of it creates those type of actions? This world has the potential to be whatever we dream, and in turn will it to be. And we can keep complying and accepting a world that makes our skin crawl and our chest tighten. Or we can reject and shift the paradigm into something that we truly believe in. A reality that consists of working together in community, sharing resources, sharing and trading, even connecting with each other to create art, to create new life, to raise children, to ascend into our higher consciousness, and in turn, ascend the world into a heaven-like place. We need you to become an active member in your community. Change your perspective to what's right in front of you, and you can change this world. It's been done before, and it's happening now. There are people that are active members of their communities, and they are creating and initiating change. Slowly but surely, we are and we will see a change in this world. But we still have two options. We can detach from our humanity, causing destruction of nations, of people, a very selfish world where if you don't have it, then you don't get it. Or we can create a world that taps back into the divine, that rejects money as a leader, and that shifts the focus to core values of love, of peace, of integrity, of ancient intelligence, and community. A world where we're the leaders, where we take our power back and redirect this planet to a higher consciousness. This is Pluto in Aquarius, but it doesn't have to be all dark. Because a lot of times I see people discussing Pluto of Aquarius online, and for a while I was stuck in that loop as well. Like all of this evil or this darkness and this change and this unbearable change and shift in our society is going to take over, and there's nothing we can do about it. But when I say that out loud, that just can't be true. Because throughout history, even in the midst of the darkest of times, people still found a way to keep moving forward, but also found a way to have light in the present by creating art, by staying connected, by sharing with each other still, and being in community. I think that a lot of people are very critical of Christianity, especially when it comes to its role in the Black community. But when you really look at it, there weren't many options for our people back then. And so, and the Christianity that we know today, the church that we know today is not the same church it was even like 70 years ago. So like we also have to have a little historical what's the word? Context. We have to have a historical context to why these things are the way they are. The church, specifically the Black church, was the way for our people to find some sense of hope and in the moment community, because you really can't do life alone, and you damn sure can't do your most challenging times by yourself. You need other people. Even in the darkest times of history, those core values remain what gets us through, where that's love, art, and spirit. That's what's going to get us through this time, because things are changing, but we don't have to accept that they're bad. Because I believe everything, even the worst of things, maybe not the worst of things, but everything has a flip side. Everything exists in duality. So we're either going to see a world of destruction and famine and violence and all those things, zombie apocalypse, or we can create a different reality. We don't have to accept that because Pluto and Aquarius are linking up, that it's going to be a dark time. Every time comes with its challenges. That's not true. But it doesn't have to be all bad, because I believe we're all here for a reason. Specifically in the time frame that we exist, for a reason. Our souls chose to incarnate here in this time for a reason. And I also believe that we're meant to enjoy life. So if those two things exist, then we must be able to make some way to enjoy the next 30 years. Well, 20 years with Pluto and Aquarius, we should be able to enjoy the rest of our lifetime. Even if everything we wish isn't in fruition, as long as we're leading ourselves there, we'll come back and finish the job. We need to remain active members in our local communities, because it's what's going to get us through this time. And while I sit on my community will solve all your problems spiel, I also do want to acknowledge that organizing community can come with challenges, because people are people, and the people are indoctrinated. People are indoctrinated with white supremacy. And not just the concept that whiteness or white people are superior to anything that is not that, but all the concepts of white supremacy, the selfishness, the denial of access to others, and the big C, capitalism. And a symptom of that system is the years of brainwashing that keeps telling us that money is going to solve all our problems, or that we're not even good enough to access money. All of it's really painful, actually, because it's like, damn, because of what I look like. And what's really crazy is, like, this is only the last few hundred years, bro. Humans are 250,000 years or something like that old. So you telling me that in the past few hundred years, y'all just got all the answers? I don't believe. Because before that, you have to wonder what was happening before that. What was happening in the first few hundred years? What was? Who was there? What were we doing? What type of technology did we already unlock and experience? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It's just really crazy that they was able to flip it and reverse it like that. So we gonna flip it and reverse it back. Smack cam. That brainwashing, though, it keeps us believing in the money, air quotes, and the trauma of being poor, and not believing that money is something that you can access. That's money that we were never going to get. But the hope, my hope, is not lost. Because with Pluto and Aquarius, with these new technologies, we can create our money. We can create our resources. We literally can make them. It's so crazy. I know it is scary, and there are a lot of things to consider, but I ask you to do the research for yourself and not to take what people say on the internet as fact before you look into it yourself, because it's important that you know how it works so that it cannot be a tool or a weapon used against you. Because I kind of think that's what happened with the internet. Not a lot of us know how the internet works. Myself included, for real. I don't really know how it works per se. We can't unsee how much AI has an impact on our world and the work that we do. We are able to create our realities now with Pluto and Aquarius, because Aquarius is, it's that sign of thinking outside the box, taking a different approach. And Pluto is transformation, it's rebirth, it's destruction. In that sense, that it's rebirth. I know it seems scary, but we cannot be afraid of power. And I also know that power has looked like violence and corruption. But like money, that is not inherently negative or positive. Power is influence, it is will and pure potentiality. And in us, in all of us, lies the potential and capacity to seize leadership from the corrupt and redirect it. Power is not inherently corrupt or evil. It's just that the forces that have taken on power have done that with power. And I envision a world where everyone's skills are recognized as valuable and vital to the operation of a world that prioritizes our greater good and higher consciousness. So get on your Zoom. Emphasis on Zoom. Because everything is moving really fast right now. And time is of the essence. While we have all the time in the world, we also can't waste our time scrolling. That's no longer an option. You can't waste your time scrolling, okay? You need to get on your Zoom and hone in on your skills or develop new ones. We have a vast digital library at our fingertips for now. So get on your Zoom. If it's a skill you've wanted to develop it. Even better if you're able to find like local spaces where you can expand on that skill and connect with other people who are also into that skill. And through that, you're creating this, my other point, which is connect with your immediate and local community and redirect the planet. Help this planet redirect to love, integrity, intelligence, and meaningful interactions. No more meaningless stuff. No more mindless stuff. No more dead stuff. Because why are we working ourselves so hard, or working our minds, our bodies so hard to acquire this thing? We all have to come together. There's no more room for mindlessness. Everything must have a pulse and everything must be real. But this is where I see the great split that everyone's talking about, because you can't get them all. There's gonna be people who still believe in the old world, and there's gonna be people that embrace the new one. And in that, we have to remember that everyone has the right to choose. So if you're choosing, choose love. With that being said, peace.